Well, good morning guys. My name's Rafini Dilasani and today we're gonna learn about statistic. But before we dive into numbers, formulas, or research tools, let me ask you something. Have you ever used a thermometer that gives you the wrong temperature? Or a bathroom scale that changes its mind every time you step on it? Well, that's exactly what can happen in research when our tools aren't valid or reliable. And today, I want to walk you through the basics that make or break a research study about validity, reliability, and some simple but powerful statistical tools like the t-test and normal distribution, and also correlation studies. And don't worry, we'll keep it real, simple, and practical. So let's get into it. So, what is validity? Well, validity is basically about making sure we're measuring the right thing. Imagine you're using a thermometer to check if someone has a fever. If the thermometer is broken and shows the wrong number, then you can't trust the result, right? That's how validity works in research. It checks if our tools actually match the thing we want to study. Well, there are several points in here. The first one is ensure a tool measure what it is supposed to measure. This means that your research tool, like a test or a survey, actually checks the thing you want to study, not something else. And the second one is helps produce accurate and meaningful results. If a tool is valid, the results are trustworthy and actually useful in real life. The third one is build trust in conclusions and supports real-world application. With valid data, others can believe in your conclusions and even use them to make decisions in education, health, and etc. The next one is essential for theory development and educational decisions. So validity helps researchers build strong theories and supports good choices in school or policy. And the last one is without validity, finding may be misleading. If your tool is not valid, your result could be wrong, and that's a big problem in research. According to Carnia in 2024, that validity is very important because it makes sure that the test or tool is actually measuring what it is supposed to. When a tool is valid, then you can trust the results. And this means that you can rely on the data to make good decisions or understand the topic better. If a test isn't valid, it might give false or misleading results, which can lead to mistakes. So having a valid tool helps us to ensure that the research is correct, trustworthy, and useful in real life. Next one is reliability. So what is reliability? I want you to imagine this one. Reliability is like having a scale at your home. If you weigh yourself today and tomorrow and you get the same number, assuming that nothing really changed, then your scale is reliable. In research, we want the same kind of consistency. There are several points in here. The first one refers to consistency of measurement over time. If you use the same tool again and again, you should get similar results. That's reliability. The second one is reliable tools give similar results in similar conditions. If nothing changes but the results are different each time, then the tool is not reliable. The third one is prevent random errors and strengthens data quality. Reliability keeps your data steady and reduces mistakes. The next one is enable researchers to track patterns and make decisions. If your results are consistent, then you can see real trends and draw a good conclusion. According to Carnia in 2024, reliability is important because it ensures that the results are trustworthy and not just due to error or randomness. When a tool is reliable, we can trust the results and make accurate decisions based on them. If the results keep changing, then we can't be sure what they truly mean. So reliability makes measurements steady and dependable, helping the researchers too and everyone else be more confident in the results. Before we begin collecting real data from participants, it's our responsibility to make sure that our research tools are ready, that they're valid and reliable. This is not just about good research, it's also about being trustworthy or what we call amanah in Islam. In Islam, amanah means fulfilling a trust with responsibility. For researchers, this means ensuring that our tools are valid and reliable. So the data we collect is both accurate and honest. As written in Surah An-Nisa, indeed, Allah commands you to render trust to whom they are due. The next one is normal distribution. So, the normal distribution is a fancy term for something that is very common. Think about a classroom. Most students get an average grade, right? A few get very high and a few get very low. If we make a graph of those scores, it makes a nice bell-shaped curve, and that's what we call as a normal distribution. And there are several points in here. The first one is also known as the bell curve. So it's a graph that looks like a bell, and most data is in the middle, less on the sides. And then the next one is mean, median, and mode are equal. In a perfect bell curve, the average, the middle number, and the most frequent number are all the same. The third one is most values fall near the average, fewer on the extremes. So most people or things fall close to the center, with only a few being very high or very low. The next one is used in test score interpretation and standardized assessment. So schools and researchers basically often use this to understand test score and compare the students. And the last one is helps identify what is typical and or unusual. It tells us what's normal and helps us spot outliers, like who might need extra help or attention. According to Frey 2018, a normal distribution is a type of distribution that describes how data's values are spread out. It is one of the most common patterns we see in the statistic every day in life. Imagine you're looking at everyone's score in a large class. Most students will score around the average, like the middle score. Few students will score very high and fewer will score very low. If you draw this pattern on a graph, it makes a smooth bell-shaped curve. This is what we call as a normal distribution. So normal distribution shows that most people are in the middle, not too high but not too low. This reminds us of fairness in Islam. We're taught to treat people fairly, not the same. Some need help and some need challenge. This is like how teachers look at test scores to support students based on their real needs. Next one is about correlational studies. So based on Frey's explanation in 2018, correlational studies are looking for a connection between things without trying to change anything. For example, do students who read more also write better? That's something we can explore with correlation. There are several things in here. The first one is examine relationship between two or more variables. So you are checking if two things are connected, like reading habits and writing skills. The second one is no manipulation involved, purely observational. So you don't control anything, you just watch and collect data. And the last one is correlation coefficient, range from -1 to +1. So this number shows how strong the relationship is. For example, like positive, both variables increase or decrease together. For example, like more studying, the students will get higher grades. Or the negative one, which means that one increases while the other decreases. More screen time, it can lower the sleep hours maybe, for example. And the last one is zero or no relationship. The two variable doesn't seem to affect each other. Okay, just because two things are related doesn't mean one causes the other. Correlation shows a relationship between two things, but it doesn't mean one causes the other. And Islam teaches us to be careful before judging. Just because two things seem connected doesn't mean we know why. We need to reflect, think deeper, and not jump into the conclusion. So The last topic is about t-test. According to Frey 2018 said that a t-test is used when we want to compare two groups to see if there's a real difference. For example, let's say one group of students use a new app to study and another group doesn't. We use a t-test to check if the group with the app actually did better or not. And there are several things in here. The first one is compares mean scores between two groups. So it checks if there's a meaningful difference between two sets of numbers. For example, like class A versus class B. And then the second one is trying to answer the questions of is the difference real or just random. So it tells you if one group really performed better or if it just happened by chance. The third one is requires numerical and normally distributed data. So you need numbers, not yes or no answers. And then the next one is commonly used in experimental studies. So great for research that compares two different teaching methods or treatments. And in here you can use the tools like Excel or SPSS or GASP and others. So a t-test helps us to compare two groups to see if the difference is real or not. In Islam, we're taught to look for proof before making decisions, right? We must be honest with data and careful not to assume. Doing research is a form of like amanah, a trust we must fulfill with responsibility. Well, the conclusion is validity and reliability are the foundation of the research. If your tools aren't valid or reliable, your research may fall apart. And then for the tools, it helps deepen the analysis. So it helps you to understand your data better and draw strong conclusions. And together, they ensure your research is accurate, ethical, and meaningful in education. When everything is done, your research can help students, teachers, and the whole education system. In the end, validity, reliability, normal distribution, correlation studies, and the t-test are tools to help us do good, honest, and useful research. If we get this basic right, our work can really make a difference in the classroom or beyond the classroom. That's all from me. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.